Dan, what would you say separates the films that make it into the Holly Shorts Film Festival against those that don't get in?
I think, going back to story and the completion of a story, I think the biggest thing is kind of two parts. Is one, films that don't stay true to what their story is. So when I answer this part of the question, then we'll go back, because there's another side of it, the obvious stuff as well. But the films that don't complete, they go out to set it. They go out and the filmmaker's set to make a certain story or make a certain film and tell a certain story. And they go on, and it turns out to be this drama, and then it turns into some type of over the top raunchy comedy, and then like they try to throw 3-4 genre pictures into one 15-minute short, and then the films are all over the place, and then it becomes confusing for us as a jury, and probably would be confusing for an audience, and their story gets lost. The film becomes unenjoyable. There's problems with the act. Like, it just kind of sometimes it snowballs that way. Those kind of films where people were trying to tell or showcase their abilities in many different ways, instead of just staying true to the one story they need to tell. You are dealing with short form, short content. It's a short film. It's not a feature film. Feature films can have that type of texture, and you can go longer, and you can kind of go into different periods of story and and backstory and whatnot. But when it comes to a short, and you're not making a feature, and you don't have that same luxury. And so going back to that, some filmmakers you see, again with cramming everything in, they also and I'm going to just throw this out there. We're not a fan of the lengthy opening credits on a short film. I'm very annoyed about that. I just got to be honest. I think other programmers I've talked to, like, it's just something that you're not. It's not a feature film. It's not a feature production. So you want to give everyone needs that credit. Not the credits. That's not the point. But the credit should be at the end. Those credits are deserved. But to open up with that kind of credit sequence without telling your story, it's wasting time. You have a minute to 30 minutes to tell your story. Tell your story. And too many of these films come in and just, I guess they're following a model maybe. Or they see feature films and think, okay, I gotta make a film like this, and that's not what you're making. I mean, some of the best short films we've seen have just go right in the story and go right into it, and don't have much credits at all sometimes, if at all. Now, I'm not saying don't have credits at the end or don't have credits at all, or even credits in the opening, but just these full-on, associate producer credits and whatnot in the beginning of the film. It's not the place for that. I think a lot of programmers are probably even harsher than we are about it. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to a film, say, oh, that's it, it's done. But it's something it's distracting to me. And again, if you're not getting into the story because think of it this way: we're sitting around watching films all day, or even if you're just watching a certain amount in a day, you're still, we're gonna be on more kind of critique mode, meaning you're gonna be kind of a little more critical. It's good to see stuff again sometimes and kind of back off that and just kind of, enjoy the film and not be as harsh, I suppose. But you're watching stuff for a period of time, if you are watching all day against other films, and something like that is going to be a negative deterrent, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. So that's one thing I'd say, filmmakers should avoid when it comes to shorts, and for programmers, I think they feel probably the same as we do on that. But that part of it, the story, again, the issue of telling multiple stories in one film, trying to showcase different sides of their talent, like styles, maybe they're trying to emulate certain styles, certain filmmakers they've grown up watching. So you have, again, the lack of focus of the film, and that's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem we see a lot. And when you have films that are very, the story is told in a very nice, fluid way, even if it's the most simple of stories, but it's told in a beautiful way and it's executed. That's what we're going to appreciate, and that's what we can look at and say, okay, why can't we program this? There's no reason. You're not giving us any reason to say no. It's kind of one way we look at, all right, this film had the elements it needed to have to tell its story to the best it can be. I have no reason to say no to the film. So that's kind of, we're like, okay, then we're gonna have to find a home for this and program it, because it just the film works and there's no reason to say no to them.